Hey guys, I've got a 15-minute game up on the board against somebody rated 941, and I'm going to play. I've played d4, we've had d4, d5. I'm going to play this Jabbar the London line. Okay, so they've brought their knight out. Attacking this pawn, it's defended once. e4 is not playable at this point, so I'm going to play the bishop out. Really working on sanity checks, mental discipline right now. Okay, so the queen's not coming out here anytime soon, that's good. I can play e3 is normal. I can also play my knight out here. I think both are fine. Okay. Let's play e3. Nothing wrong with that. This is covered. Right, now the normal move in the London here is to drop the bishop back to g3, so that's what I'm going to do. And if bishop takes, I recapture with the h-pawn, freeing up that. Okay, he's not gone for that. So I think bishop d3 looks very natural now. It blocks my queen's defense of this pawn, but it's still defended by this knight. So he's playing very solidly so far. Okay then, this could be a target at some point. Thinking I want to move my queen now and maybe castle queenside and come after the king here. His queen... Thinking queen e2. Just checking for threats. There might be a threat if I castle queenside of the knight coming in here. So I don't know if I want to play a3 first. a3 looks good, it's just stopping the bishop and the knight from coming to b4. I want to leave this here. Alright. So is he thinking about pushing the e-pawn? I've got 1, 2, 3 attackers on that square there. He's got 3 defenders. I could put my knight in first. See, if I put my knight in, say knight takes, even bishop takes. Now he can't really take with the knight here. I'm going to try this. If he takes with the knight, I've got pawn takes, and then the pawn is actually forking bishop and knight. That would be an error. So I'll try and lure him into that. Also gets my knight off the f-file, preparing for pawn advance on there. Got me coffee. So that would be an error. And now surely he's going to lose material, right? Didn't spot the pawn fork. He's got bishop takes, but then he loses his bishop. Bishop can move away. So a simple tactic there. Right, so he's attacking my knight and he's attacking my bishop. If I capture the bishop, he could recapture with a knight, or he could capture with a pawn. He can't capture with the queen because I've got bishop takes behind there. Or I could capture the knight And then his bishop's still in danger. If I capture the knight, he recaptures. Then the pawn is attacking my bishop. So I think capturing the bishop is probably the best move, but let's calculate this out. If I take knight, he takes, I take, and then his bishop can escape. So I don't win material that way. So I'm going to take the bishop and see what he wants to do. If he wants to take here, that's fine. If he wants to take here, that's also fine. Okay. So he's attacking my rook. Now I could capture on c7 and hit the queen. Wins another pawn. If I take there, queen might just capture the pawn, then I get the knight. Seems like the right way to go. So it's really important when you think there's an obvious move like recapture, always look to see if there's an in-between move. Okay, so now the queen is looking at this knight, but that's okay, it's defended. The queen is also looking at here, but I think I can now capture fine. I'm thinking h takes is best. There's an option of f takes, but if I capture with the f pawn, I'm capturing away from the center, leaves me with an isolated pawn on the e file. So I'm just going to take with that. Looks solid. I'm a piece up. And now I need to think about getting my king safe. Okay, what's the point of that move? I'd like to get my queen onto this diagonal and maybe look at there, but it's all covered right now. I've got queen here, and then maybe rook takes h6. It can't be recaptured because of the pawn. That's an idea. Then he might push the pawn in the middle though. If my queen's on here, might just push with tempo. So maybe even just queen e2 now, keeping my options open. Then I could still castle long, put my rook onto the d file. Queen's also from here, queen's defending this, so in case of that, I guess I could just take with the pawn. Okay, so that's opened up the line for the bishop. So now I can't put my queen on there. I think castle's queen side looks best. He's got good pawns in the centre, but he's a piece behind and he's behind in development as well. So I'm thinking castles there. I'm not worried about the bishop coming out there. I'm not worried about the bishop coming out here. Okay, go ahead and castle. So I've now completed development and I've used just over 5 minutes of my 15 minutes. All right, now, this is not unexpected. But if I take, I've got queen here and that threatens mate. Well, mate soon. So I'm going to capture, get rid of that pawn. Okay, now here, if I go there and he captures, got queen there, check, king has to move to here, queen here, king moves to there, rook into the middle. Let's calculate it, come on, let's do this. There, he takes my knight, check, king here, check again, king here, one of my rooks over then with check, and the king's on here. There's no real need to give up the knight. I could play my knight to there, for example, hitting the queen, and it's defended. Pawn's now in front of his central rook, which I quite like. Knight's well defended by bishop and queen. I've still got this idea. Right, okay. I'm liking this. Queen can't take the pawn. How about if queen there and bishop here, I can capture the bishop. I'm okay. Let's try that. And that's all right. And I'm threatening this. This rook hasn't played any part, neither has this bishop yet, but all my pieces are actually involved in the game, which is nice to see. I think I'm using my time better so far. He's used just over 3 minutes of his time. I've used nearly 8 minutes. Right, now I'm inclined to centralise my rook. That doesn't work. Got 2 attackers on this pawn, but it's defended twice. I think centralising the rook makes sense. Yeah, bishop here still doesn't work, so I just capture and win a piece. And there are threats maybe of this as well. If the queen comes off this diagonal, then I've got that, and the king has to move, and then I could win the rook. So that's always something to remember, that it's not always a case of queen going straight to the back rank. You need to remember queen to the 7th rank can be forcing. Okay, now do I have king here with a mate threat? He's got 2 attackers on this knight. If I put my queen here and say bishop takes knight or queen takes knight, I think this is checkmate. I've also got knight takes pawn or queen takes pawn. I think knight takes pawn looks good because this bishop has just moved in front of the rook, so the rook's no longer defending that pawn, so that pawn's now defended only by the queen. So even b4. So I think queen takes pawn looks good here. I'd have to look out for example, a check if this bishop was to move, but my king's on a dark square, so that's all right. So which is best? Free pawn or checkmate threat? If I go here, how does he stop checkmate? Where do you have to play pawn forwards? So queen here, pawn goes there. Then I have bishop to here as well. Let's try the checkmate attack. See if that works. I'm down to 4 minutes. I've got to move with some urgency. Now if he takes the knight, which he'd have to take with the bishop, I think I have mate. And I think that's his only escape. Then I've got queen here, king there, bishop there with check. And I think that is mate as well. Oh no, because if the queen's on h8, it's not defending the bishop. So pawn forwards, queen there. Okay, so he's found the move, that's good. I could play the bishop in now. And that would be a mating threat. Let's try that. King can't go there, there, there. The king can't move. So how does he stop mate now? Queen h8 would be mate. How many checks has he got? He's got queen takes c2, which is no good, that's losing. Bishop takes. One thing I'm working on right now is being deadly accurate in mating attacks. It's one area of the game where I feel like I can start to slacken off when I feel like I'm in a winning position. You see the difference in the move order, because now this move isn't playable, right? But if I'd played queen there first, then the king comes here, and then I haven't got that because the bishop's undefended. But this way, it's just same moves, different order. And what's he going to do? Not sure he's got anything. He's got 9 minutes, but what use are those 9 minutes if you've rushed? I think that's checkmate. Oh no, so the queen's blocked. Oh, okay, good move, interesting. Now rook takes queen. My queen is safe. Can't go there, there, there. He can only block with the bishop, I think, now. Oh no, he takes with the pawn, okay. Now, queen takes with check. I'm just looking at forcing moves. 4 minutes 18 on the clock. Can't go there, 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 or there. He can't block, so he's got to play the king to here. And when he plays the king to there, that's another check, wins a rook. You can go here. Okay, so I've got a rook if I want it. Let's take the rook, come on. This rook goes out the way, we're okay. I've got c3, this pawn is pinned. I've also got check there. Okay, I'm not in check, so I'm going to throw in my own check here. That's another example of an in-between move. All right. Now simply block that. Now I've got bishop to here as well, which would be mate. Oh no, he's got 2 squares. Just throw that in. So he's now got 1, 2, 3 squares he can go to. All right, now. What do we do? Let's push forward. Threat of check there. Or even queen takes. Bishop's pinned, can't move. So that's the threat. Okay, rook takes check. Bishop's pinned. So he can't go there, he can't go there, he can't go there, can't go there. So he's going to lose the bishop. No, he can't go there either because of the rook. So the bishop's going to fall. It's going to be checkmate very soon. Alright, let's just grab the bishop. He's got far too much material now. He can't checkmate me, because there's no back rank threats here. That's a check. His king moves to the back rank, I can capture the rook. If the rook blocks, I can capture the rook. King can't go there. Okay, so that's mate. Wow, good game, well played. Just say thank you to my opponent. Right, a quick review. Okay, Jobava London style. Very, very solid. Okay, drop the bishop back, inviting bishop takes g3, h takes. Bishop up, looking at h7. Pushes that. Okay, so both play a prophylactic move, defending these squares. Knight across, and now, this is the first trap. So I'm tempting knight takes, and he falls for it. And this is losing material. So we have a counter-attack now, but the right thing to do is first grab the free material, because if I'd have gone into an exchange, that's pretty equal, then I've got a bishop under attack by a pawn, and his bishop can escape, no good. So we have to take the bishop first. Now an in-between move, attack the queen, grab an extra pawn. Now take the knight. Rook centralizes, queen off the back rank, preparing to castle, castle's long. So now we have both rooks on the d file, pushes, takes, pawn takes. Now move the knight with an attack on the queen. Now we're threatening the king. Centralize the rook first to remove these squares from the king. Knight is still safe. Bishop comes out as a second attacker on the knight, but now I come in with my attack. And he's got to do something. This is the only move, I think. Now bishop in first is important. And the only thing he can do is to block the rook with his queen. If he'd have blocked with his rook, no good, because that's still mate. So the only move available is to block that. I throw in the check first. In fact, I didn't even see that I could capture the queen. Capture the queen with check. This is important. It saves my queen. Captures, fork, winning more material. And now he simply doesn't have enough. Here's another in-between move. Don't need to protect my rook yet, but I've got an easy f3. Now f3. Now check. Okay, so this is removing this defender of this pawn. Takes, rook up. And it's all over. Good move. Good game. Hope that was useful for you. Some attacking ideas there, but basically in a couple of ways. I mean, I tried to trap my opponent. He didn't go for the second one, capture the knight, but he fell for the first move, and that gave me a significant material advantage. That's all I really needed just to continue and eventually put together a winning attack. So nice little game there. Do recommend this line with knight to c3 is good. Normally in the classic London system you'd play your bishop out first and then your knight to d2, which is a much more passive position here. This knight can come in here with lots of ideas here, but look up Simon Williams, Ginger GM. He's got a few videos on the Jobava London if you want to check those out. He's also got a course if you want to go into enormous depth on the theory, which probably is not much use if you're under 1800, 1900. Probably wouldn't recommend it, but it's a nice little alternative to the regular London. You might want to try it out. But thank you for watching, and I shall see you soon.